Electric bikes. I love them. I can't get enough of them. I've been riding them for over 2 years now. There are so many benefits that come with them. There's the physical aspect, there's less pressure on the joints, which means that you can ride further, you ride for longer, and I can ride every single day with one. There's the more day-to-day aspect when you're cycling to the office and you don't need to take a change of clothes or anything that you need for showering or towels. Everything you need can be put onto you. You can wear the outfit that you need and you turn up at work bone dry. There's also the performance aspect. Your stop starts at traffic lights are absolutely rapid, and conquering hills is so much easier with an electric bike. I actually look forward to them. There's so many benefits here, and also I feel way safer when cycling at night, particularly as a woman who can sometimes feel a little bit more vulnerable. But there's one thing about electric bikes that really grinds my gears: the speed limit. Hello Electroheads, my name's Eilis, and today we're going to be talking about electric bike regulation. Welcome to my cycle. I'm going to be taking you guys along Tower Bridge and then along Embankment as well, all across the river towards Big Old Ben. First up, let's talk about regulation. So depending on where you live, your government will have set up regulations and rules for electric bikes to allow you to ride them legally on public roads. So for example, here in the UK and a lot of the rest of Europe, the regulations are that you need to have a 250 watt motor maximum, and the top speed you can get electrical assistance is up to 15.5 miles per hour. Now, the UK and Europe have very similar rules because at the time these rules were drawn up, UK was still in the EU. Cry. In America, for example, their rules are a little bit different. So their max motor is 750 watts. That is 3 times what we're allowed here in the UK, and their top speed is 20 miles per hour. Now, the reason for this I can understand, because I've been to America. The roads are bigger, the cars are bigger, the people bigger, everyone goes a lot faster. There's also, from what I experienced or what I saw, a lot less cycle infrastructure. I mean, the last time I went was actually when I was in Los Angeles, and the lowest speed limit I came across was 35 miles per hour. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong if there are slower areas, but it felt like, well, it didn't feel particularly safe being able to ride micromobility on American roads. And it's one thing to allow cars, vans, buses, lorries to drive up to 20 miles per hour, or let's be real, 22 miles per hour, because you've got that 10% allowance, haven't you? But one thing that really gets me is the fact that non-electric bikes can go way quicker. And I'm not even talking about the lycra clad lot. I mean, those lot are rapid. I'm talking about your average everyday commuter on an acoustic cycle, just getting about. Those lot, they seem to be able to pass me so easily. Having an electric bike is amazing, particularly when you're getting off at the traffic lights, because you get such a beautiful, speedy start that you just do not get from an acoustic bike. And it means that you're always first at the traffic lights. And I think this is a really, really big thing in terms of safety as well. If you ever need to get off at the lights or even just get out of danger really quickly, having that motor assist you can be really, really helpful, and has saved me a few times as well. But the problem is, you start off, you hit 15.5 miles per hour fairly quickly, and then all of a sudden you hit this plateau. And not long after, cyclists, acoustic cyclists, who've got a little bit more welly, will start to overtake you. Now, okay, there is a little bit of pride involved here, of course, but the main thing is I'm just super aware of the fact that I can just kind of be in the way for people, particularly if you're on a road where there aren't any cycle lanes. Usually as a cyclist you kind of need to be one behind the other, and so all of a sudden I hit 15.5 miles per hour. I'm arguably one of the slowest, and then I'm in the way, and then these poor cyclists essentially have to find a way to overtake me safely, and then I could potentially become a bit of a hazard. And this in particular happens to me when I'm on a cycle route where there are cycle lanes that have bollards that separate the cycle lanes from the main roads, which obviously is great because it keeps you safe from cars and it stops bigger vehicles from coming into you and taking up your space on the cycle lane. But the issue is that then creates more of a barrier and more of an issue for a cyclist who then needs to overtake a slower user in the cycle lane. In short, I become the hazard, and don't get me wrong, when those situations occur, I really do try my best to pedal as hard and as fast as I can. But the problem is, electric bikes, they are a lot heavier than the acoustic equivalents. And honestly, I struggle to get past 15.5 most of the time, unless I'm on a slight decline or going down a hill. But I do think that this is something that could be really easily fixed. Now, of course, there are safety implications if we're talking about upping the speed limit of electric bikes. And people do argue that, of course, electric bikes, they're heavier, and so therefore, in a collision, can cause more damage. I mean, compared to acoustic bikes, that is the case. But I don't think we should be comparing ourselves to the acoustic counterparts. I think we should be comparing ourselves more to a far more dangerous, larger, heavier vehicle, which is a car, a van, a bus, ones that are allowed to go up to and over 120 miles per hour. And let's be real, I've seen a lot of bigger vehicles going at a much faster pace than the 20 miles per hour that is stipulated, but they have the capability to do that. And most roads here in the city deem 20 miles per hour to be a safe and sensible speed for areas where pedestrians are prominent. So why shouldn't that be a safe and sensible suggestion for an electric bike? And there's the argument that because electric bikes are heavier, they have a longer stopping distance. Yes, again, I'm not denying that, but you would think that e-bike manufacturers have taken all of this into account, the weight, the speed, the drive, and created brakes that are suitable and sensible. But again, we shouldn't be comparing electric bikes to their acoustic counterparts. We should be comparing them to other vehicles that are regulated on our roads. Cars, which are much bigger, much heavier, have way more of a stopping distance than electric bikes. Yes, again, simply put, a 1,000 kilogram car traveling at 22 miles per hour has 50 kilojoules of energy, whereas a 15 kilogram bike with a 70 kg rider on top will have a tenth of that energy. Where is the logic? A big thing here about safety and regulation is clearly the safety of pedestrians, because let's be real, we are no threat to any other larger vehicle on the road. So I want to talk quickly about the road deaths with pedestrians here in the UK and why that is really important. So in the UK in 2021, there were 5,000 seriously injured pedestrians on our roads, and there were 360 pedestrians who were killed. Who was the main culprit of all of those? Yeah, you guessed it, the car. Between 2016 and 2021, 66% of those fatalities were on urban roads. Now, one serious injury, one fatality is one too many. And the whole point of this, the whole point about electric bikes is to encourage people to get out of bigger, heavier, more dangerous transport and get them onto something lighter, far more efficient and a lot better for the planet. And to be honest, the more people that can get on something like this, the more happier our cities and our communities are going to be. The air is going to be cleaner, congestion is going to be reduced massively, and less congestion means less road rage, it means more space on the roads, it means more people can be encouraged to cycle. But being able to only go at 15.5 miles per hour max, that's tedious and it's going to put people off. All I ask is that we bump up the number to 20 miles per hour. That is just 30% more than the current regulation, and it makes such a world of difference. 30% doesn't sound like much, but on a bike, that is plenty. And here we are at Big Ben, guys. Beautiful. Oh, it really shines in the light. It's had a beautiful glow up. But at the same time, I don't believe that electric bikes should be any faster than 20. I don't think they should be 25 or 30, because that's where we're getting into a different kind of territory, more moped style speeds. I really don't think an increase of 4.5 miles per hour is much to ask, and if that does mean that helmets are mandatory and even hydraulic brakes need to be something that all electric bikes should have, well, so be it. The more safer riders that we have, the more safer rides that we have on our roads, the better. Overall, I don't want this video to discourage people from riding electric bikes. If anything, the opposite. I just want to talk about just this one thing that nibbles at me, that if we speak more about it, more people know about it, we can be more aware of the situation, we can talk more about regulation. Regulation doesn't have to be set in stone. If enough people talk about this, things can change. Just like with the electric scooter regulations currently, we need to fight and fight and fight to get things changed. Electric bikes have changed my life. I've been able to ride further, ride for longer. I've found so many benefits with riding a bike. I look forward to taking on more hillier terrain. Being able to cycle into work every single day, cycle to my friends, cycle to the shops, it really has meant that my head is clearer. I'm in a better headspace. I'm not crammed onto public transport day in, day out, feeling like a little sardine.
We're like a pack of sardines and we cannot escape, we cannot come out.
My point here is, if this one tiny little thing about electric bikes here in the UK could change, I think it really could benefit us so much more. And I think it's going to get more people onto electric bikes, which means clearer roads, happier people, fitter people. So if there's anybody in government watching this right now who is in charge of regulation, I implore you, try an e-bike, see for yourself, experience it for yourself, and tell me what you think. Things need to change, and if things do change, it really does benefit so many of us. Alright guys, well that is it for today. Thank you for coming on my journey with me. I am ending it here with Big Ben in the background. If you want to see more videos like this, more opinion pieces, let me know down in the comments. If you like this video, please don't forget to hit that like button, and I'm going to get out of this wind. I'll see you soon. Bye!